Hi everyone, thanks for being with me today. I've had a bit of a problem with my software, so who knows what's going to happen. But I will be editing this particular one. I won't be going live, so clearly, whatever problems were there, hopefully I can sort out. Now, I'm going to have a shot today at my mate, my buddy, my friend, my cohort. Oh, I'll reframe all of that. I don't like this man. And this is Tucker Carlson. So, don't know what you think about Tucker, but I was most interested when I came across a video that he'd recorded with Russell Brand. Now, I haven't had much. I've heard of Russell Brand. I know who he is, whatever. But I hadn't had much to do with him and hadn't subscribed to his YouTube channel. 6 million people have, apparently. But now that I have, I guess I'll find out more about the crap that he spouts as well. But he did interview Tucker Carlson, and I found this interview rather fascinating because he was asked about his. So Tucker was asked by Russell about his version of being a racist. Now, I don't know whether Tucker's a racist or not. However, I suspect he might be. And there's a bit of evidence to indicate that he is. So I'm going to play this clip from Russell's show. And here is Tucker trying to explain in the best way that he can that he isn't racist. Now, what I find quite fascinating is that when people like Tucker, who advocate that they're on the right wing of politics, they pronounce that they are Christian. And it's almost like the fact that you're Christian sort of eradicates any other versions of yourself that may be unacceptable. And he, Tucker, thinks that because he has strong Christian beliefs that go back to his parents and whatever, that that is the moral standard that he takes that influences every aspect of his life. That it's hard to imagine that someone like Tucker Carlson is anything but a good guy because, actually, his religious beliefs say that he is. So therefore he is. And he tries to justify his perspective around racism or not being a racist by, I guess, arguing that humankind was created by God, and that I think he's indicating that perhaps because it was created by God, then it was equal. Well, if we want to go back to the 6,000 year mythology around the creationism, then perhaps we should rethink all of that. But here he is articulating how he thinks and feels about this particular subject. So here we go.
Views are, I would just say them, and I'm just saying them now. So my views about race begin with my religious faith, which is not very sophisticated, but is sincere.
Yeah.
And that begins with the belief, the knowledge, the certainty that God created people, that they're not objects, they're not machines, they're not...
I don't even understand what he's trying to tell us here, but here he goes.
Widgets in a bin waiting to be assembled by some company. They are distinct individuals with distinct souls, and they have equal value in the eyes of God. Doesn't mean they have equal ability. Doesn't mean they all look the same, but it means they have equal inherent value. And my politics flow from that belief.
Yes.
And I wonder, when he talks about this individual belief shit, I wonder whether he's saying that if you're of a different colour or a religious background or whatever, and there's some indication that he does have some very strong views about Muslims and others, and he denigrates them and has denigrated them over the years, that is their ability. So if you have a different background, then you may have a different ability, according to him. So that ability would subjugate you to others, or it would at least prove that you're an inferior, perhaps, to others. So this is his logic.
And so the idea that you would reduce people to their race and say, you know, we're going to treat this person better or worse because of his skin color is repugnant to me. And
Regardless of the fact that they have different abilities.
it's something that I've argued against every day that
Oh,
I was at Fox News. I
no evidence of that, but then if that's what you say, buddy, well, we're about to prove you wrong.
think all of my life, you can't punish or reward people based on their immutable characteristics.
Yes.
Because they didn't choose those characteristics. So it's inherently unfair. It's inherently immoral. I'm totally opposed to it. And so if that's a racist position, I guess, you know, I'll just stand and take the punishment. I don't think that is. I think that's an argument against racism. I think it's wrong to reduce people to qualities they were born with and they can't control. Period.
Yes.
Now, that's interesting. The qualities they were born with. Well, buddy, I want you to know, and this might come as a surprise to you, but we're born pretty damn equal. We aren't born with qualities, and that doesn't mean that you know, if you're African American, does that mean that you're born with certain qualities just because you're African American? Or if you're Indigenous Australian, are you born with certain qualities because you just... No, you're not. You're born in a particular social structure, though, that may determine how you're going to be. But it doesn't matter. If you're born in any family whereby you're influenced through violence and drug use and a whole host of other issues, and the social issues that may determine who you are, such as the way you're treated at school, the fact that you may have a different colour skin than other kids, you may have a different religious belief than others, and all that sort of stuff comes into play. Certainly that will determine how you view yourself. There's no disputing that. But you are not born that way. Only an idiot would think that. Well, need I say any more about Tucker? Perhaps he's one of those.
My views on immigration are super simple and I think mainstream and sensible. The fact of who lives in a country more than any other fact determines what the country is like. And so if you change it radically over a very short...
Now, I think the way he puts this is fascinating, because this is, whether we like it or not, this is racist. So there's an underlying sense with Carlson that regardless of what he says, he is a racist. And he tries to counter this in some what I think are bizarre ways. He tries to tell us that the way a society is made up, the way it's structured and who's in that society is going to determine the way that society is. No disputing any of that. But what he also is saying is that basically the underlying message is that if that society becomes anything but white, then there's something wrong with the way the society is being constructed. And that is racism. Now, you know, we've got to get to a point, I think, in this world where we start to accept that multiculturalism is the way of life. It's better for us, it's better for our environment, it's better for the way we think and feel about ourselves, and it's inclusive. And the world is this shrinking place in a sense because, you know, there are more and more people migrating to other countries because of starvation, because of war, because of a whole host of issues. So we need to accept it. And they're just people. They're not different from anybody else. They're just people who need to be cared for, nurtured in some cases, who need to be accepted for who they are because they are just part of the human race. To me, it's just that simple. But people like Tucker Carlson, who hold these racist views, want us to believe that we need to make a stand against some of these issues. And immigration for him is one of those issues. For immigration for a whole lot of people on the right are one of those issues where it's going to change the colour of the country. So there'll be these other people that are going to take over the world and take over our country. And as a result of that, we're going to be different. Well, you're not. You just need to accept that this is part of our world. This is the way in which we need to learn to live. So try and find a way to accept it, rather than being the I don't know, don't know the word for him. I guess he's a bigot.
Period of time, you're going to have a lot of social upheaval, a lot of churn. It's going to rattle people. People can't metabolize change very well at all. The Industrial Revolution led to Stalinism and then the Third Reich. Like, these are basic facts. It's not an attack on anyone's color at all. And
So the message there is that, and we must decipher his shit, because the message is that if we allow this to continue, this immigration shit, we will not be able to. Now, I don't know what world he comes from, and I don't know what sort of sociological studies he's done in order to better understand the world, but he obviously is limited in his ability to be able to grasp the social impacts of change, because it won't turn to Stalinism and it won't turn to fascism, except in the United States it may, given the pushback from the right about white supremacy. So his side of politics is the one side of politics that is likely to cause a fracture of society, which may eventually result in some sort of civil disobedience. So let's see what more this person, I won't describe him inappropriately, has to say.
Whatever. So those are my views. I support a lot of, well, I don't know how I feel about immigration as a topic. There are a lot of immigrants I love, including.
We know how you feel about it. Yeah, I love this bit. Okay, watch this.
My best friend, for whatever it's worth. So I love this bit. So as soon as somebody says, "Oh, I have a friend who's Indigenous," or "I have a friend who's African American," or "I have a friend who's Jewish," or "I have a friend who's Muslim," you know that they're either racist, anti-Semitic, or just don't like people that are different to themselves, because they only have the one friend. And, I was thinking about this the other night, and I know of people, and I've worked a lot with people who have come from different backgrounds over the years. But I would never say, I don't think, and I hope you don't, but I'd never say, to justify my position, I have a friend. Because I think immediately, as soon as you say that, you're defining yourself as racist in an underhanded sort of a way, because you're also saying, well, don't call me racist because I've got a friend. Well, bugger off. Don't care what friends you've got. It's what you say and do and think, or what you think and how you enact that thinking, that really determines whether you're racist or not. But this is the argument that he uses, and I find it appalling, to be quite honest. Of course I'm not against immigrants. Like, that's insane.
No.
But the way that the United States.
I also like the way he says, and that's insane to think that I'm against immigrants. Oh, you'd be so silly to think, even when I am, you'd be so silly to think that I'm misogynist when I am a misogynist. You'd be so silly to think that I'm racist when I am racist.
This is doing immigration is designed to wreck the country and to make it unstable and to destroy any social cohesion whatsoever, or social trust, and make people
that's racist,
hate each other, and add to racial division, which I hate because it's not solvable.
He only hates. Yeah. Oh God. Do you ever got to listen to this dude? He hates racial division because it's insolvable. Well, bastards like you, Tucker, are the problem. So you're the ones making it insolvable by sowing this crap.
In contrast to, say, class division. If we're arguing about class, well, at least class theoretically can change. I can ascend or descend classes, but race doesn't change because we're not responsible for it. We're created that way. So you don't want racial
We were created that way. Now, I'm going to dispense enough with listening to this man, because what I want you to understand is that you can go through all of his stuff and you can pick little bits and pieces out. Every time he opens his mouth, crap will pour out. And it seems to me to be really easy to decipher that, right? So to pick out and to go through the stuff that Tucker talks about is relatively easy. And the reason why it's so easy is that, number one, it's illogical, I think. And secondly, he's not very smart. He really is not very intelligent, I don't think. But, you know, I could be proved wrong, and some people have. I just wanted to have a look at this other... So let's have a look at the reasons why he lost his job at Fox. And here's a clip from the ABC News in the Australian Broadcasting Commission. American Broadcasting Commission. So let's just have a look at what they say, and that will help us to understand what he really is like.
From Fox News, a new text message revealed by the New York Times alarmed Fox executives. Carlson was fired days after the text was seen by Fox's board. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky has the story. Good morning, Aaron.
George, good morning to you. The text message obtained by the New York Times from Tucker Carlson is racially charged, and it does appear to have set in motion both his firing from Fox News and the network's decision to settle with Dominion Voting Systems.
Overnight, the New York Times published a text message from Tucker Carlson to one of his producers, sent the day after the January 6th attack at the Capitol. Carlson described a video he had seen in which a group of Trump supporters had attacked someone he called an Antifa kid. It was 3 against 1 at least, he wrote. Jumping a guy like that is dishonorable, obviously. It's not how white men fight. The message continues, I found myself rooting for the mob against the man, hoping they'd hit him harder, kill him. Carlson wrote, I could taste it. Then the message said, an alarm went off. I'm becoming something I don't want to be.
And I guess I won't labour the point, because it's quite evident where Tucker sits around all of this stuff and what a bloody hypocrite he actually is. And we need to call him out as such. And certainly, I think, stop allowing people like him to influence. I mean, we're free thinkers. We should be able to think about some of these issues ourselves and not allow ourselves to be influenced by others. And, you know, I've got my channel here so that you and I can have a conversation about this stuff. I got lots of comments the other day about one of my feeds, and that's fine. I don't mind having the discussion. What I do want to do is to help us to better understand the ways some people are thinking that determines basically how other people... So people watch Tucker Carlson and they become influenced by him, as they do with Donald Trump. And I think there's a much better, healthier way of viewing the world than what we see through these guys. So I'd like to, if you've got any further conversation, I'd see you subscribe to my channel, and also to contact me at this particular email address if you wish to have a further conversation. And if anybody wishes to get onto my channel and talk to me about any of the things that I discuss, more than happy to interview you and to continue that conversation. So thanks everybody for being with me. Take care, look after yourselves, and be safe.